If you got into fighting games with Street Fighter 6, learning a new game might seem daunting. Here's some advice on how Street Fighter's mechanics translate over to Avatar Legends to help you pick up the game faster. Avatar uses 4 main buttons: light, medium, heavy, and flow. You'll usually see these abbreviated to A, B, C, and D. The flow button is used for the game's system mechanics as well as some character-specific moves. I'll cover the flow system in more detail later. It may take a little trial and error to find a button layout that feels comfortable. You'll probably want to experiment to find a layout that suits you. I ended up binding flow to my thumb button so I didn't need to move my hand as much. There's also a variety of shortcuts you can bind to buttons. I highly recommend that you set a dash shortcut and get used to using it. It will feel odd at first using a button to dash, but it will allow you to move around the screen much easier. You can use the super shortcut bind instead of the dash bind, and it will also function as a dash. This cuts down on the number of buttons you need. While some characters do have traditional dashes, others have runs and will continue running while you hold the dash button. The combos in Avatar work a little differently to Street Fighter. In Street Fighter, most combos are links. This is where you have to time your next button after you've recovered from the previous move. Avatar's combos are instead based around chains. This is where you cancel one move into another. This can take some getting used to as you need to press the next button of your combo before the previous one has recovered. Attacks can be cancelled into moves of the next highest strength. Lights can be cancelled into mediums, and mediums can be cancelled into heavies. You may hear this referred to as the Magic Series, or sometimes Gatling. You can also perform these chain cancels on block. If you delay the timing, you can create a frame trap. Very few moves are plus in this game, so this is an important offensive technique. A lot of the combos in this game are long and involve complex juggle sequences with lots of stance cancels. The execution in Avatar is hard, so expect it to take a while to learn optimal combos. This does vary a bit by character. Some characters aren't so bad, but Katara's stance cancel flow jump combos are a nightmare. As with any new game, start with basic combos and worry about getting optimal later. Like in Street Fighter, you can back roll on the ground by holding back, but you can also roll forwards by holding towards your opponent. In this game, you can also air tech out of certain combos, giving you an invincible escape. You can attack after an air tech, but this will cancel any remaining invincibility. Avatar doesn't have punish counters like Street Fighter, but it does have a similar mechanic called critical hit. The conditions to perform a critical hit depend on the character. You can find this information in your character's move list. The exact effects of a critical hit depend on the move, but they usually lead to combo extensions and give you a point of energy. More on energy later. Elemental Surge is another important combo mechanic. This gives moves extra combo properties in certain situations. For example, Toph's projectile causes a ceiling bounce if the opponent is close enough. The movement in Avatar is a lot faster than Street Fighter. Even the slower characters can dart around the screen with ease. Every character can super jump, and every character has some form of unique movement option. You can also move around before the round has started, although you can't perform any attacks. This means that if you're playing a fast character, you might be able to close the distance before the round has even started. There's a lot of air mobility in this game, and most characters don't have dedicated ground-to-air buttons like you'd find in Street Fighter. To anti-air, you're reliant on air throws or air-to-airs. If you react too late, you'll just have to block. This increased mobility leads to a fast-paced, aggressive game. Movement is fast and free, not slow and deliberate like in Street Fighter. It's now time to talk about the flow system. All flow actions cost flow meter, which gradually recovers over time. Holding the flow button puts you into an evasive stance that will cause you to automatically dodge all moves, but make all throws against you critical hits. This is basically the same as drive parry in Street Fighter 6, except there's no perfect parry and it doesn't restore meter. Every character has flow moves mapped to various directions. Most of these moves are movement options, and some characters like Aang even have special flow movement in the air. These flow movement options often have follow-ups and act kind of like stances. For most characters, down flow puts you into a stance which evades highs and allows for various follow-ups. You can cancel block stun or flow dodge into any of your flow moves which aren't mapped to back. This allows you to make defensive reads to get out of your opponent's pressure or even punish them. You can press heavy plus flow in block stun to perform a reversal. This costs half your flow meter, so is very expensive. You can hold flow while performing a ground recovery or air tech to perform a flow escape. This sends you much further and usually lets you reset to neutral. This also lets you escape certain juggle combos early. Performing a flow escape locks you at 50% flow for some time, preventing your meter from recovering. The flow system is heavily character dependent. For most characters it provides mobility options and access to extra moves, but you'll have to go into the move list for your character to find the specific details. Like Drive Gauge, if you run out of flow meter, you'll enter a recovery state. In this game, it's called Unbalanced. When unbalanced, you can't use any flow moves, every hit is a counter hit, all throws become criticals, and every knockdown becomes a hard knockdown. This means that every hit leads to Oki. You also can't flow escape when unbalanced, which might give the opponent better combos. Being unbalanced is highly punishing. If you're unbalanced, you'll get instant killed by any final technique, so let's talk about supers. The super meter in this game is the energy gauge. Energy points are gained by hitting with specials, throws, overheads, and lows. You also gain energy by dodging lows or highs with flow stance. In addition, if you hold flow stance for long enough, you'll start gaining energy. Energy can be spent on 3 things. EX moves, which you might know as OD moves, cost 1 or 2 points of energy. Moves which are invincible or give combo extensions cost 2, whereas other moves cost 1. You can spend 4 points of energy on a super. These are generally powerful moves with special properties, but most aren't invincible like you might expect from Street Fighter. You can spend all 7 points of energy to perform a final technique. This is a cinematic super that does a ton of damage. If your opponent is unbalanced, this will instant kill them. Your maximum energy is capped at 5 in the first round and increases to 7 once you lose a round. This means you cannot perform a final technique unless you've lost a round. Every character has 3 supports to choose from. These supports power up certain moves and cater to different playstyles. Depending on the character and support, you may end up with different combo routes or even an entirely different game plan. For example, Toph can pick the Boulder for better command grabs and more armor, making her more of a bruiser. Alternatively, she can pick Badger Mole, improving her projectiles and giving her more of a zoner playstyle. Here are some bonus tips to help you get started in the right direction. Avatar is more freeform than Street Fighter, at least for now. This will probably calm down a bit over time, but it's also inherent to the design. At the start, offense is going to be a lot stronger than defense. There are strong mix-ups in this game, and proper counterplay will take a while to be found. The flow system gives big reward for predicting your opponent's offense, but it will require matchup knowledge to use properly. Avatar is a difficult game with high execution. Expect the learning curve to be tough. I'm a huge fan of what I've played so far. I want to try all of the characters, so I may make a video outlining the playstyles of the different characters and their supports. Let me know if you'd like to see that. I'll still be playing Street Fighter, especially with the big patch coming soon that will hopefully buff Luke. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.